morning.
How's everybody doing?
Well.
Yes. It's good to see your faces. It's good to be back. We had a week off last week. It felt longer than a week. I miss CSC. I miss being here. I love being back in this vibration. I love being back in the remembrance and reminding who and what we are, because that's what it's all about. Yes, we are here leading. Yes, Pastor Yolanda and I are pastors of CSC. But we need to come back into the truth week in and week out, just like everybody else. You know, you take some time off, you take some time away, it's easy to forget. That's why we come back to this each week. So thank you all for being who and what you are, to being a part of this remembrance, of being a part of this celebration that is Celebration Spiritual Center. So we have a new month, and it's June 1st. And our series is Awake, Aware, Awake, Alive, 30 Days of Joy. And so we're going to support everyone this month in really moving in joy and staying in joy throughout these 30 days. We'll be sharing some things online, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But more importantly, what we want to do in our messages is really bring you into a new awareness and consciousness of what being happy in life is, but more importantly, what joy is, because joy is the thing that is unending and unconditional. So, as I was thinking about the messages, a lot of things came to my mind, and I wanted to start out this week by talking about hell. And I was reminded that last year, in April of last year, I preached a message, A Call to Love, that came right after the bombings at the Boston Marathon. And the heart of that message was talking about how we have to still stand in a place of being able to love and show love and forgive those two brothers who were involved in the bombing, right? And using A Course in Miracles, which teaches that every act of fear is really a call for love. And I ended that message by talking about hell. And one of the things that I love about hell, first of all, I'll just say this. I said this in that message, that hell is not a real place, but hell is a real experience. Does that make sense? Yes. And so what that really is telling us then is that hell is actually something we create. But it's not a place where Lucifer or the devil or Satan lives. But what's one thing that's interesting, there are a lot of different thoughts about hell. If you look at the Bible, the words that are used for hell really have nothing to do with a place like a lake of fire and those sorts of things. And if you want support with that, if you've grown up with a strong Christian background that taught about hell, I would offer you, check out Love Wins by Rob Bell, which is a powerful, powerful text. And then also you could look at God Is Not a Christian, Muslim, or a Jew by Carlton Pearson. Either one of those two books will really help you and support you in getting rid of that story of hell. But I was reminded of the Persian idea of hell, which really it puts it in a way, a frame that I think is helpful, because it doesn't talk about hell as being this lake of fire or some place that we're going to be punished. But it takes the mythological, symbolic story of Lucifer. So as many of you know, I'm sure there's a story that Lucifer was the greatest angel. He was an angel of light. Lucifer, that word translates into light. He was light itself. And wanted to be greater than any other angel, and was really jealous of the fact that human beings were created. Long story short, Lucifer is banished, and supposedly banished to this place called hell. Now, in the Persian story of hell, what it talks about is that the reason that hell was created because it represents a place of separation. And that actually what was going on in the story, it wasn't that Lucifer was jealous of humanity, it was that Lucifer loved God so much and didn't like the idea of anything getting in the way of his relationship with God. And so, but because he got into that place of jealousy, or got into that place of not liking what was going on, hell was created, separation was created, and that separate place was hellish because he was away from his beloved. So that's what hell was. It was this place of separation that was created, that Lucifer was no longer able to be in the place close to his beloved, which was God. And so hell, again, represents really this place of separation where we're away from love, when we're away from the things that bring joy, when we're away from the things that bring light, when we're away from the things that bring about ease. And so again, I say, hell is not a real place, but it is a real experience. And it's a real experience because we created it. Now, again, A Course in Miracles would say that hell is really just about separation. That at any point that we're operating out of fear, and fear can look a lot of ways. Fear can also be doubt, it can also be worry, it can also be stress, it can be a lot of different things, but when you bring it down to the lowest common denominator, it's fear, as A Course in Miracles teaches it. And any time that we're operating in fear, we're operating in separation, right? And any time that we're operating in unforgiveness, we're operating in separation. That creates hell. Right? At the point that I feel that I can't forgive you, at the point that I'm choosing to be unloving to you and holding you to something that you did or didn't do or said or didn't say, at that point I've created hell for myself. Because now I have to imprison you and hold you to this thing, this whole scenario around unforgiveness, and I'm living in hell because of that. It's a place of separation. And so last week, Pastor Yolanda and I had the good opportunity to go to a Abraham-Hicks workshop. And Abraham said something very powerful that kind of just struck me. And it said, Abraham said, stop arguing for your limitations and start advocating for your desires.
Yes.
And as I heard that, then I heard these words, what the hell are you talking about? Because what I began to understand as I heard those words, what I began to see is that when we argue for our limitations, when we speak words of doubt, when we speak words of worry, when we speak words of fear, when we speak words of unforgiveness, when we choose to live in that stressful place, we are actually creating hell. And so my question to you is, what the hell are you talking about in your lives?
Yes.
How are you creating hell, and then how are we going to uncreate hell in our lives? Now, before we can get deeper into this idea of how we're creating hell and then how we can choose to create heaven, we must have a few foundational things. And so I hope we can come into agreement with these truths that, first of all, we are vibrational beings. We are spiritual beings. And so who and what you see, the soul clothing that you wear is just a small part of the truth of who and what you are. You're more than that. You're much more than that. And who and what you are can never be altered, it can never be changed, regardless of the circumstances of your birth, regardless of who you loved or who you didn't love or who didn't love you, regardless of how many degrees you have or don't have, regardless of how much money is in your bank or not in your bank, regardless of what you did last night or what you're going to do later. None of that can be changed. You're a holy, divine, spiritual, vibrational being. Now, what's additionally important with that, as we think about being vibrational beings, then we also have to understand that we live in a vibrational universe. And what's interesting to me, I was thinking about the Kabbalion, and I love that the Kabbalion sort of sets the foundation. Before you can get into the laws of, the principles of the Kabbalion, which teaches metaphysical laws and principles like the principle of gender, and the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of vibration, and you first start here, all is mind. It's another way of saying that all is vibration, because we must understand that everything is thought. And every thought has a vibration. I love the fact that now science can actually measure. There's a vibration. There is literally a frequency of thought that can be measured, that is being sent out from all of us at all times, and then we are attracting back that which we have thought into being, right? It's the same reason all things are vibration. It's the same reason. The reason we are able to see is because light is bouncing off of all of these things. And it's vibrating back, and then our eyes are interpreting. Same thing, sound. The sound that's coming out of my voice, it's vibration. You're hearing it, and it's vibrating into your ears, into your eardrums. It's then interpreting it into these English words that I'm speaking. All is vibration. We live in a vibrational universe. The last thing we must be conscious of and we must consider is this, and I love this. We're vibrational beings. We live in a vibrational universe, and we live in an inclusive universe. And I love this. I don't think it's something that we talk about often or think about often. We live in an inclusive universe. What does that mean? Well, it means that while we live in this world of duality, while we live in this world of light and dark, it's all here, and there's nothing that can be excluded out of it. This is the reason why, if we understand and look at the law of attraction, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that today, when we look at the law of attraction, it's said that don't focus on what you don't want, focus on what you do want, right? So if you keep saying, I want to be in a relationship, but I don't want to be in a relationship with a person who has children, And you keep focusing on that. You're saying, I want to be with somebody that has kids. And of course, everybody that you meet has kids. Yes, yes? Because we live in an inclusive universe. In other words, you have to simply focus on what you want. It's all there. So just because you said, I don't want it, the universe still says yes and amen. The law of attraction still works and brings it to you, right? So we must understand that. So when I'm thinking about talking about hell, when I'm thinking about creating hell in our universe, I want to provide a couple of examples that I hope will get us to see sort of the power that we have. And so the first thing I was thinking about was I love my iPod, I love my iPhone, and I generally like to listen to my music on shuffle because I think it's fun. Usually I feel like I have a special relationship with my iPod, and it gives me like the right song each morning to kind of walk to the subway. And I love that, right? But if I want to hear Stevie Wonder, and I put it on shuffle and it plays Alicia Keys, I could keep complaining, right? And say, you know, I want to hear Stevie Wonder, iPhone. I want to hear Stevie Wonder, iPhone. And it's playing, you know, I got on the shuffle, it's playing Alicia Keys. And then it goes on from Alicia Keys to Maxwell. And then I'm like, I want to hear Stevie Wonder. And it goes from Maxwell to Tchaikovsky. And I'm like, I want to hear Stevie Wonder. And it goes from Tchaikovsky to Miles Davis. And I'm like, I want to hear Stevie Wonder, right? Now, understanding vibrationally, and I see some of y'all laughing already, like you can get the sense of how we do this in our lives, right? That we say we want something, but we live our lives on shuffle, and we let the iPod of life continue to offer song after song after song that has nothing to do with what we want. And so, when we understand what we're talking about, when I say, what the hell are you talking about, and when I say that we create hell through our experience, through our vibration, it's similar in that way that we say, again, I want a new job, or I want more money, but we live our lives on shuffle, and we're just letting all these other things come to us without using the power that we are to actually shift, because I can manually change the song and go to what I actually want to listen to. So the next example is like this. As I say that we are vibrational beings, as I say that we live in a vibrational universe, as I say that actually thought can be measured and it's a frequency, what's a clearer example is really that we're able to tune into radio stations, right? And so if I want to listen to country and western, all I have to do is change the dial. Yes, yes. Find whatever that country western station, wherever I am, at least in the United States. I don't know if I can get a country western station in London, but wherever we may be, you tune to that station and it's cool, right? I'm listening to Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks and Life is Good and Clint Black. And so I'm getting my country western fix. Now, the thing about tuning to that vibration, if I, for any reason, shift to the hard rock station, can I still listen to country and western while I'm tuned to the hard rock station? It's not possible, right? Now, what's interesting to me about that, when we create the hell in our lives and how we create the hell in our lives, and this is, I must say, this is counterintuitive to life, right? To how we may have been taught to live life, and that's why we come here. Because, see, there are things that I know you want in your life. I know there are things that you want to experience in your life, but then you find yourself experiencing the storms or the difficulties, or you find yourself just tumbling down the road of everything is wrong, and things just start to go, seem to get worse. You know, it's like a domino effect, right? What I'm offering to you is that you must, just like you would tune to the radio station that you want, just like you would take your iPod off of shuffle and go directly to the song or the artist that you want, you must do the same in your life. And so when I ask the question, what the hell are you talking about? I'm curious. What station are you tuned to? Regardless of what station, you know, the station you may want to be on, what station are you tuned to? See, are you tuned to the station of complaining about your job? Because again, as you focus on complaining and everything that's wrong, that's all you're going to get, because we live in an inclusive universe. It just says yes, and yes, and yes, and oh, you want more of that, and yes, and yes, and oh, you want some more of this, and yes. And it will give it to you in greater number and with more power, because that's how powerful you are. Right? But then we have the ability to shift it in any way we want to. So, the other part of this, which is interesting, and this is why I say it's counterintuitive, because the thing that comes up is like, okay, well, but I do hate my job. Like, that's true. You're telling me not to say what's true, or better yet, my partner did cheat on me. That was real. That happened. You're telling me not to say that's real, that that's true? But what I'm interested in, and the reason why this is important is we're talking about and recognizing that we create hell and that we're vibrational beings and that we're choosing, we want to experience joy in our lives. Stop telling life like it is and start telling it like you desire. You hear that?
Yep.
Stop telling it like it is. That's the fact of life. And start speaking of the truth, which is what you desire, which is whatever you choose it to be. Tell it like you desire. And so, that is why we see examples with your partner, for instance. Maybe he or she is doing something, I don't know, that annoys you, and you constantly find yourself talking about that or harping about that or complaining about that. I invite you to start speaking only good. You don't have to tell a lie. I mean, if they, always, put an empty orange juice carton in the refrigerator, like, that's true, right? So you don't have to lie. You can't lie and say that there's juice in the fridge. Like, that's not true, right? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you can begin to start to speak about the good that they are doing. Focus only on that. Tune your radio station to the good that is in them. That the good that you see that is undeniable. Tune your radio station to that and don't allow yourself to go anywhere else. Why? Because if you're on the country western station and you go to hard rock, you cannot listen to country anymore. There's no way, because you're a vibrational being. And what your attention is placed on, that's what grows. Another example, another way to see this, right? If we think about our focus, and just for a minute, we're here in this room and we're focused on what's happening here. But can you take in for a minute everything that's happening just in this city of Brooklyn that we're not focusing on? I mean, you could go onto your phone right now and focus on something else. Just the fact of the wireless internet is like flowing all through this room right now. Emails and video, all of these things we have access to. It's happening right now, but we're not focusing on it. Yes? We're focused on what's happening here. It's the same thing with the things that you want in creating hell or creating heaven in your life. You must focus on heaven. I love that A Course in Miracles, one of the lessons, it says that heaven is the decision I must make. And I love that the word must is there, right? It's really not an option, because ultimately, as you continue to live your life and as you continue to create hell in your life, if you create hell in your life, and God knows we all do and have, and that's the beauty of this growth experience and this life experience, you recognize that, you know what, I'm no longer willing to experience these hellish moments. And so heaven becomes the choice that you must make.
Yes.
I must make. Right? Not I can make, or I may make, or I could make. Do you want heaven or do you want hell in your life? What the hell are you talking about in your life? And so, I go back to the quote from Abraham-Hicks. Stop arguing for your limitations and start advocating for your desires. I love that, right? But as I begin to think about it, in our lives, I don't think anyone is consciously arguing and saying, hey world, I'm limited. Hey world, I'm broken. Hey world, I'm worthless. Like, no one is consciously doing that. No one is consciously going through life and saying, you know what, universe, you know what I want? I want to get fired, and then I want my lover of 5 years to just break up with me out of the blue, and then I want my house to get set on fire, right? Like, nobody says those things, right? But I mean, what I know to be true, people have experienced those things where it's like life happens just boom, 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 and it's like, oh my God, I remember writing a song lyric, and I was talking about my own life, and I wrote the lyric. I said, it almost seems impossible, trouble and trouble again. How much can life give one man? There was a point in my life where it just felt like everything was just coming from left and right. It's like, what gives? I wasn't consciously asking for those things, but there's some something that we must understand about vibration. Now, the definition according to Abraham-Hicks, and I've shared this before, of the law of attraction is the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. And, when I hear that and when I read that, I don't think it means much. Does that like resonate with people in the room? No, good. So, I want to explain it because I think it's a powerful definition, but it's also kind of lofty. The essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. What does that mean? Because again, this takes us back to we don't ask for these specific scenarios of hell, right? But underneath what the vibration that we're sending out, right? There's an essence of the vibration, and I think this is critical. I think this is critical to understand, and I believe that this will shift some of your experiences. Because oftentimes, and maybe it's just me, I've had an affirmation that I've dealt with for a while, and in the first few days it feels good. For those who may be familiar with the 4Ts program, there's, I think in the morning and before you go to bed, you're supposed to recite, I am prosperous 100 times. And that's a powerful affirmation, I am prosperous. And I remember the first few times, in the first week, maybe in the first 2 weeks, like it was exciting every morning, I am prosperous, I am prosperous. And I used to count to 10 on each hand and go over again, and it was great. But, that was like a 90-day class, and so you move into month 2, and it's like, I am prosperous, yeah, I'm tired. Like life has happened, right? And so these affirmations start to lose their zest or their zeal. And it's interesting because we have an understanding now of the fact that our words have power, which is absolutely true, right? And but why is it that if our words have power, why if I say I am wealthy now, a pile of cash doesn't appear in the room, right? Like why is it now that if I say if I was single and seeking a relationship and say that the perfect mate is here now, why doesn't that person show up right now? And so this is where the definition of the law of attraction, the understanding of this becomes critical. Because what I've learned to be true is that, yes, the words are important, right? You can speak words of doubt, you can speak words of fear, you can speak words of worry. But what I've come to understand is that it's really about the essence or the feeling underneath the word. The feeling is informed by what you believe to be true. And so if you say I am wealthy, but all you believe is that my mother was broke, my father was broke, my grandparents were broke, you can say and affirm I am wealthy till you turn blue. It ain't gonna happen, right? Because the law of attraction says the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. So the essence is the feeling, and it's also the balance of your thoughts, which is a beautiful thing to recognize, that if you think I am unworthy in this moment, it's not going to bring unworthiness into your life immediately, right? It's about the balance of what your thoughts have been. And so I thought it was important to really look at the definition of that word, essence. The essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. What does essence mean? It's the basic, real, and invariable nature of a thing, or its significant individual feature or features. And so this is where we get into, and I've talked about this in terms of prayer, and when we're thinking about what we're asking for, to get to the thing under the thing. Because often we say we want money, that's something that everybody wants, but what do you really want? What is that money going to do for you? How is that money going to shift your experience? Well, you want safety, really, that's what you want, yes, that's right. You want a sense of security, that's what you really want. You want a sense of peace, you want to live your life without worry, not wondering or worrying, will I be able to pay the rent this week, or to move this bill and not pay this one. You want to have that experience, so it's really not about the money. The money is an energetic thing that will allow you to do certain things, or allow you to feel something, but you're really after the feeling, you're really after that essence, right? It's the same thing, if you want a relationship, you're really looking for that sense of companionship, that sense of partnership. You're looking for those fun times where you can just laugh at each other and laugh with each other. And you're looking for that just special moments of sitting on the couch watching the movies like Pastor Yolanda and I do like all the time. We have a great time, right? And you're looking for that beautiful feeling, right? That's what you're after more than you're looking for the external human being, right? And so that's why, as we're looking to create heaven in our lives, we must actually seek and look to the thing under the thing. Now, I was reminded in the Bible, there's a famous proverb that is used, and I'm sure many of you know. Proverbs 23 says, as a man thinketh, so is he. In his heart, so is he. And what's interesting about that, if you look at some mystical texts, they'll use this verse and talk about the fact that at the time that this was written, heart was a synonym for mind. And so you could easily shift this to say, as a man thinketh in his mind, so is he. If you go into the text a little deeper and you look for the Hebrew word, which is lev, I love that the definition of the word. The word of heart means inner man or mind, will, heart, understanding, inner part, midst, the midst of things. And so as a man, as a woman, as a human being thinks in his or her inner part, so is he. So see, it's not about what you say, because you got to have a feeling underneath. You got to understand what you're really reaching after, that thing that you're reaching after, that feeling tone that you're reaching after, because that's the vibration. That's what the universe is responding to. That's what the law of attraction is using. It's using that essence. It's using that feeling tone. And so, even as we go back to essence, I forgot to share this. The synonyms of essence I love: substance, spirit, lifeblood, heart, principle, soul, core. And so the law of attraction is responding to the spirit of that thing that you're offering out as a vibration. It's responding to the substance, to the principle, to the core of what you're offering as a vibrational being. So how do we create hell in our lives? Again, I say, none of us argue with the universe consciously and say, universe, I'm limited, right? But how do we do that in our relationships? How do we do that in our finances? How do we do that in our career? How do we do that in our families, or with our health, or maybe with our weight or our body image, or how we look? I was reminded of another lyric that I wrote. I was writing a song actually for my daughter to really remind her of who and what she is. And the key lyric in that song says that the story of your life is the story that you write. And so I would offer to you that you have an opportunity to write your story exactly as you choose it to be, by virtue of your vibration, not just by virtue of your words. Because we've all done that. Yes, we've all affirmed a bunch of things, I am skinny, I am skinny, I am skinny, I am skinny, and like nothing happens, right? But what are you after? Think for a minute. Whatever that thing is that you're after, wherever the hell is in your life, for a minute, in this moment, close your eyes if you need to. What is the heaven that you're seeking? What is the vibrational equivalent, that feeling, the thing under the thing that you're really seeking? That's where you put your focus. That's where you tune your radio station. That's the song that you play over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because what I know to be true is that as a vibrational being, wherever you put your focus on just long enough, that thought, that initial focus will attract another thought. And that thought will attract another thought. And that thought will attract another thought. And then you begin to feel that the feeling that you have becomes greater. And I guarantee that over time, in time, through that process, you will experience exactly what you want. Why can I say I guarantee? Because I know that everything we see and experience in this world was first in someone's mind. I mean, look around this room. These walls, the bricks that made this wall, the video camera, everything in here, it was a thought first. It did not exist as manifested reality, so-called reality. So that's why I can say I guarantee that if you hold this thought in mind, it shall be. Why else can I say that? Because this spiritual center that you're sitting in was just a thought in the mind of Greg and Yolanda. But here you are in a physical space. CSC is 1 year old now. But it was just a thought in mind. Just a thought. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating to really sit with that. But here it is, a living, breathing organism, growing and thriving. So that's why I can guarantee that that thing, wherever the hell is in your life, it's time to create and write a new story, but not just to talk about the story, but to feel it. Not to focus on the external thing, right? Not just focus on the person, even what the person would look like, or how tall or short, or any of those things. Because, see, what I know to be true, see, the universe, there's no separation between you and God. There's no separation between you and the universe. Many teachers, many people will say, oh, well, write down this, and, write down all you want. And yeah, that can be helpful. But I believe that as we move forward and as we mature and as we are moving into greater expression of who and what we are, you recognize and understand that, wait, if I am one with the universe, if I am one with all that is, if God is me and I am God, and if I'm connected to everything, then how could it not know what I want? How could it not know what I prefer? How could it not know the exact perfect thing that I need? It must, because you know it. So it's not really necessary to go down through all of the lists. What's necessary is to focus on the feeling. What's necessary is to keep your eyes single on that feeling tone, on that thing that from the place that you desire and what it feels like. That is the reason why we can recreate the past so easily. Think about it. If you tell a story, particularly, usually for me, if I'm telling a story about something that had happened in the past when somebody wronged me. Now, again, maybe it's just me. When I start to tell that story, I feel it in my body as if I was transported back 10 years, 5 years. Why is that? That's how powerful this feeling is within you. The feeling can take you right into that past experience. Now, you can use that for joy as well. You could go back and think about the joyful experience no matter how long ago it was. I know many of you in the room, you could go back to a place when you were 5 years old or 3 years old or 10 or 12 or yesterday. And you can feel all of that all over again as you talk about it. I was reminded as we were watching this past week the movie Saving Mr. Banks, which is about how the movie Mary Poppins came into being. And what was beautiful for me in watching that movie, it reminded me of my time at Disney World. I worked in Disney World for 2 summers when I was in college. And it just, as I was watching Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney, and I was sharing this with Pastor Yolanda, it just took me back to all of that good feeling, those good vibrations that Disney is all about, just that joy and that happiness no matter what. And I just felt myself just being taken back and just reliving great moments and feeling all of that same joy that I used to feel every day because I had the opportunity to wake up and go out and work in the happiest place on earth and just be an example of happiness and make kids smile. And if a kid dropped their ice cream cone, you could just go and get one for free and give it to them, and they were like, wow, what? It was great, like being able to do those types of things, and it took me back to all of that. So we can use that same ability to go back to joy and recreate joy, but we understand that most of the time, many times, we do that to hash up those old experiences. Yes, yes? But why is that instructional? Why is that important? Because it clues us in on the ability that we have, right? It clues us in that, wait, okay, if I can, tune my radio station to this past story, to this past hurt, to this past wrong, to this past frustration, and feel it all in my body, all over again, as if I'm experiencing it, that means that I have the ability to tune myself into the feeling of what it will be like to live the prosperous life that I'm choosing to live. I can tune my radio station, tune my vibration, tune my frequency to the feeling of what it would be like when I am in the relationship that I desire and the joy that I will feel to love and be loved and how we will walk through life together and how we will grow together as we grow in this understanding of who and what we are. You can do the same thing. It's the same power. We're the ones that choose to use it for light or dark, or for our benefit, or to frustrate our lives, or for hell, or for heaven. So, A Course in Miracles, there's an affirmation, and I've talked about affirmations, and A Course in Miracles has in Lesson 132 that I think is critical today. As we are choosing in this month of June to focus on joy, and as Pastor Yolanda said in the announcements, what we focus on grows. Energy flows where attention goes. We've heard these phrases. It's true, right? A Course in Miracles says this. It says, I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. Today and for this month, we are making a choice, and I invite you to use these 30 days. Use these 30 days as an experiment. You know, this idea of, okay, tune my radio station only to, prosperity and ease in my finances. Okay, Pastor Greg, but, I'm a couple months behind in my rent, and, that sounds cool, but I can't tell my landlord that I'm tuning my vibration to the frequency of wealth and prosperity, right? I'm speaking from experience. Try it. I love there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." And the thing I love about that, this was a conversation we used to have in seminary. It shows that God is actually reasonable, right? It shows that God is like saying, "Try it out." It's like if I had an apple or a peach and you never tried it before, and you can have a lot of thoughts and opinions. Well, I've never had that fruit, and I usually don't eat things that look like that. And blah, blah, blah. I said, "Oh, taste and see." Oh, taste and see that the Lord, that life, that the law, that all that is actually good. Oh, taste and see. Try it out that this power, you have this power that you can use to continue to create hell, or you can make the decision to create heaven in your life. Try it out for these 30 days. I invite everyone to stand in this moment. If you have an iPhone, there's a great app. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you've probably seen me post from it. It's called Happier. The Android version isn't available yet, unfortunately. Download that app. What it encourages you to do is to post 3 happy moments each day. And it will remind you. Just to check in. So even if you don't have the app, if you have a notes app on your phone, just every day, just 3 things that were points of happiness. What's interesting, and I find often, is that there's so many small things that happen that we overlook. For instance, for me, just going up to the bodega this morning, after being away for a week, and seeing the brother there who's there every week, and he was happy to say, "Oh, hey brother, how are you? We have our beautiful exchange," and I could see that genuine excitement that, I wasn't here last week and here I am this week. That was one of my happy moments. But what again I find is that what you focus on grows. So as I continue to focus, my first happy moment was just being back here at CSC, back in the vibration again. My second happy moment was that beautiful exchange with the brother on the corner. I don't know what my third happy moment will be, but it'll probably end up being, 6, 9, 12 happy moments as I really begin to focus on it, because it must grow. And then what I find is that my attention is not on the frustrations, my attention is not on the stress, my attention is not on the worry, and so it does not exist. When you're tuned to the station that you want to be on, nothing else exists. Yeah, it's out there. Yeah, there's all these other stations, and there's talk radio and blah, blah, blah. Wonderful. I'm on the vibration. I'm tuned to the station of joy. I'm tuned to the station of unconditional happiness. And I'm just really excited about where we're going to go this month. And as I see and feel your vibrations and know who and what you are, I'm excited about the ways in which your lives are going to shift this month. And so I just want to close with a brief prayer. God in us, God as us, God through us. Mother, Father, God. The all that is, source, consciousness. There are more names for you than can be named, and we know that you are beyond all names. We stand here recognizing that we are absolutely one with you. That you are the power source that dwells within us. And there is never a moment, never an opportunity, never a challenge, never a mistake, never an error that can separate us from this closeness that we have with you. You are closer than our breath. You are closer than our very hands. As I recognize that we are one with you, I recognize that we are one with the power that you are, with the vibration that you are. As we agree on this moment that we are in a vibrational universe and we are vibrational beings, we agree and know that we send out a vibration on a daily basis, on a moment-by-moment basis. And in this month, for 30 days, we are choosing to focus our vibration on joy. And what I know to be true is as we focus our vibration on joy, so joy must be multiplied in our lives. As we focus our vibration of joy, so we must experience joy in our relationships. As we tune our station to the station of joy, so we must experience joy in our career, joy in our finances, joy in our health, joy in our families. And many would call these miracles, we would call it the truth of life.
Yes.
We recognize that miracles are our birthright. We recognize that miracles are everyday occurrences. And so as I am grateful for everyone here in the room, I am grateful for everyone here in the world, vibrating, shifting and changing life and creating more life and evolving life and moving life forward. I am grateful for this inclusive universe that we live in. And we are choosing in this inclusive universe with all of these different vibrations to tune in on what we want, what we desire to see and experience and feel and know in our world. And so we will walk through this month in joy. We will walk through this month victorious. We will walk through this month as elegant, effortless, and deliberate creators. For this, I am so very grateful, and I release these words back into you. And with much joy and appreciation, we say, Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.